Alright, all. I'm live. Welcome to, or welcome back to Dave's Hanging with Dave here on Dave's Techway. It's a little live talk show I do every weekend, or try to do every weekend. I'll go over some tech news, what's new in the tech industry for PC components and whatnot. I also do a Q&A here at the end to any comments that came in over the week. Little disclaimer here. I do enjoy me a cold Budweiser while I do it. This is my day off, so I do enjoy me a cold drink. And I am a truck driver by trade, so you may hear a dirty word or a wordy word or a cuss word or a little bit of profanity, just to give you a fair warning. I do try to keep that under control, but it may slip out every once in a while. If you can't tell by the title on the live show here today, we are going to be talking about the benchmarks to the 5600 XT. I really couldn't find anything new coming out, or anything else really worth talking about anyways. And of course, I missed last week's live show, and I want to apologize for that. I had to work on my personal vehicle. Me being able to get to and from my full-time job is a little bit important, so I had to make time to fix my vehicle so I could continue to support myself. So that's what happened to last week's show, and I want to apologize for you guys that missed it. With that being said, let's jump into what we're talking about here today. I've talked about this graphics card in the past on the show. It's the 5600 XT. Let me flip you over here to the webcam, over to the desktop here. I pulled up a few articles on this. This first one is from AnAndtech.com. All the links to what I'm showing you here today will be in the description below if you'd like to go check them out. This one here just kind of has the pricing and whatnot for it. Then I got one here from PC Gamer that kind of goes over the performance of it. This one here is from Tom's Hardware. I think I missed putting this one in the description below. This talks about that V-BIOS that they came up with. And not all the 5600 XTs can handle that 14 gigabit per second memory bus speed that the new BIOS can give you. And of course, some prices we're going to go over and whatnot. But the 5600 Radeon 5600 XT, it's coming in at $279, which is the same price as the 1660 Ti, which is less than the 2060 at $300. The Radeon 5700 is coming in at $329. 1660 Super is $229. Radeon 5500 XT 8 gig is coming in at $199 at you can get the GTX 1660 for $209. The Radeon RX 5500 XT 4 gig, you can get it for $169, or the 1650 for $159, and the GTX 1650 is coming in at $149. That's kind of where it lays in the price. It's $279. And yes, I'm aware that they brought out the 2060 KO at the $279 price tag, which didn't last long. It's back up to $299. But there's a lot of people saying that that's actually a cutback version of the 2060. It ain't a true 2060. Here, PC Gamer has tested 12 games. Like I said, the links to these is in the description if you want to go through. And they have benchmarks for all 12 games here laid out for you. But the one I want to go over is this one right here. It's the average for the 12 games. These was all ran at 1080p medium settings, so they ain't high settings, it ain't ultra settings or nothing like that. But the 5600 XT was reading about 137.4 average between all 12 games. 2060 was pulling a little bit better at 138.5. 5700 was pulling about 145.8. 1660 Ti is all the way down here at 117. And for the price for the 1660 Ti is the same price of the the RX 5 5600 XT. You're looking at 20 frames per second on average better. If you actually look through some of these benchmarks, you'll actually see that the 5600 XT is bumping right up against the 5700. And there's even some of them that showing that where it's even beating the 2060 Super. Like right here on Borderlands 3, 5600 XT is hitting 138, 2060 Super is hitting 139. I mean, it's bumping right up against the 2060. Not even the KO 2060, that's the regular 2060. And right there it's bumping, well, it's insane, it's bumping right up against the RTX 2070. Beating out the 2060 Super, but by the number 168 to 168.5, it's right underneath the 2060 Super. That's in the Division 2. And a lot of times this 5600 XT is matching awful close to the 5700. I don't know if AMD did that on purpose or if they're trying to obsolete one of the newer cards anyways, 5700. Now they're bringing this thing in at a better price, getting close to the same performance. And of course the 5700's got 8 gigs of RAM, where this has only got 6 gigs of RAM. But still yet, for the price, it's well worth the money for the price at $279. And I'm aware of the BIOS thing that's going on with it, which brings me into this next topic. Now, it's MSI. Not every AMD RX 5600 XT can handle 14 gigabyte per second memory. This one, depending on the way the card's laid out, and I actually didn't get to read a whole lot of this article before going live this morning. But the VBIOS that came out with the 5600 XT right before the release of it gives you a little bit better boost speeds on your clock speeds, and it goes from 12 gigabytes per second speeds on your RAM up to 14 gigabytes per second on your VRAM. If you want to read through the article, it's linked in the description. But MSI is saying not all their cards can handle the 14 gigabit per second speeds that the new VBIOS is putting out. Which, usually whenever they come out with these cards, they come out with this new technology. They're usually pretty right on point for the software that runs what the card's capable of running. And of course they did this because of the drop of the 2060 KO, which is right here. VGA dropped the 2060 KO right before the launch of the 5600 XT down to $300, which is right above $21 more than what the 5600 XT is priced at. $20 more. And they dropped this one. They dropped the price on this one to compete with the 5600 XT, which here on Newegg you can see, you can't get the 5600 XT for $180, $279. And then you got some of the more overclocked cards and better cooling and whatnot that's going up above $300, which that's expected. There's a MSI for $329.99, which is expected, after the onboard partners overclock them and they put their own spin on them. You can expect a little bit of a price increase like that, but you can still get them for $280 if you're actually looking to buy one. And there's the 2060 KO, which is back in stock. It was out of stock there for quite a few days. You could only get the Ultra. And now it looks like the KO is back in stock and the Ultra is out of stock. Looks like this one here ain't available. Now, I guess it is still available. The KO Ultra is going for $319. Would I recommend buying this card? Not right now, I wouldn't, because of that VBIOS. Right now, with the cards just now launching, really ain't no way to tell, as far as I can see, which V-BIOS you're getting on the cord. And if MSI is saying that not all of the cords can support the 14 gigabit per second that the new V-BIOS does, you know, are they going to be really worth shipping out with the new V-BIOS? You know, maybe they can put the BIOS on it to where they can run the higher clock speeds, but still not the faster memory. Would it be worth it? I don't know. This changing the V-BIOS kind of makes me question these cords. Even though the performance is good, especially for the price, you know, take it with a grain of salt. You know, if you order one, you want one, they're there. You know, I'm not going to recommend, or I'm not going to discourage you from getting one. You know, if, you know, they're kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a hit and miss right now because of that V-BIOS thing. And now companies are coming out saying that they don't think that their cords can handle the 14 gigabit per second memory speeds. You know, it kind of makes me even question it even more if they're actually worth the money or not. Maybe go with something that's been out for a little while just to make sure it's stable. But, you know, I guess time will tell on these new V-BIOSes and if these cords can actually handle them or not. So there's my thoughts and opinions on the 5600 XT launch. I think they messed up by doing that V-BIOS like they did. I think they should have just let the 2060 KO do what they was going to do instead of coming up with a new V-BIOS at the very end. When you order the cord, you have no idea which one you're going to get. You're going to get the higher speed one, you're going to get the less speed one. By what MSI is saying, even if you get one with the old BIOS on it, you flash it to the new BIOS, it still may not, you know, it may break the cord. Is MSI going to back up the warranty on that if it happens? Or any of the other companies out there that sell these cords with the old BIOS on them? You know, it's hard to tell. Don't know how the company's going to handle this one. But that's up to them, not me. That's about all I got for the tech news this week. And other tech news, Dave's Techway, small YouTube channel that you're watching now, I have hit 250 subscribers on the channel this past week. Yeah, I know, it don't sound too much like a milestone, but to me it's a pretty big deal. I want to thank y'all for subscribing to the channel. Without you, the channel wouldn't be, you know, a channel. So there's that. Alright, we got a few comments to go over this week. Like I said, I didn't do last week's show, so you know, some of these from the should have been covered last week, but I didn't do the live show, so I didn't get them covered. But I want to get them covered this week, and anything that's came in the past 2 weeks we're going to look at here. Let me get you flipped back over here. There we go. Alright, let's see here. Which one, where we at? There we go. We got Zayflow 1 week ago. So it was last Saturday. He sends me a D. Don't know what that really means. If you're watching live, you know what that means. Make sure you put it over in the chat, and leave it in the comments if you know what he means by that D. But thank you, Zflow, whatever you may mean by that. Maxter 1878. Cheers, Dave. Just used your B450 BIOS video again. Well, cheers to you as well. I'll drink on that one. Yeah, it seems like that video is doing pretty good. Seems like it's helped a lot of people out on that BIOS update on the B450. I'm kind of proud of that video. It's doing pretty good. You know, I've had a lot of positive feedback on that one. I'm glad you found that video useful. Let's see here. 1 week ago, it's been edited. It's Douglas Alligar. See what happened to me, Ryzen 2600X with DDR 2666 megahertz with this motherboard. Raise the core clock to 3.9 without changing voltage, okay. Up the memory 2666 to 3000, okay. Core core up to 4.2 at 1.2 volts, crashed on the game. Up the memory to 3200 at 1.25 volts, equals the crash on the game. Rustic Tech Reviews, he came back and he said the same. Yeah, when you're looking at these cheaper B450 motherboards with just Gigabyte, that was on how to overclock the Ryzen 5 2400G on the Gigabyte B450M DS3H motherboard, port 3. This is one of the cheaper motherboards. You can pick it up today. If I'm not mistaken, you can pick it up for about 75 bucks. Now, it's one of the cheaper B450 motherboards. They ain't very good at overclocking. If you've seen my video I put up within the last couple of weeks, it was overclocking with software compared to overclocking in the BIOS. You know, I actually did better with software on mine than over the top of going through the BIOS. And like I said in that video, you know, I'm not saying that that's always true that way. But these cheaper B450 motherboards do limit how much they can overclock. I mean, you know, any performance gains you can get out of it's well worth it, because it is free performance for you. But yeah, that sounds probably about right. You know, he put his core up to 4.2 on the Ryzen 2600X. I got the Ryzen 2700 and I can't even get 4.1 out of mine. I can't get anything over 3.7 on mine. Because he's running a little bit lower voltage than what I'm running. I think I was running right around 1.35 volts. But yeah, these cheap budget motherboards, you know, I wouldn't expect too much out of trying to overclock on them. But thanks for watching, and thanks for the comment. And by the way, guys, while I go through these, if I butcher your name and you're watching, I'm sorry. I don't do very good with names. Even in real life, I don't do very good with names. So yeah, there's that. Okay, Gunnar O'Dim, 1 week ago. This one here really interested me. He says, "Hey bro, I recently came across your channel and realized how much work you are putting into your channel." Well, thank you. I do put quite a bit of work into it. I only get usually 1 day a week to do stuff for YouTube, but I'm trying. But you are still not getting enough subs. Now the serious part. I think you need to work on your thumbnails to attract more views. Develop a more friendly content by giving a name to your community. Otherwise, your videos are really helpful, and I love your content. Keep up the good work. I plan on keeping up the good work, and thank you for enjoying my videos. My subs is growing fairly slowly. But you know, it's kind of hard to get noticed there on YouTube because of so much competition and whatnot. But I'm not doing bad. Let me take a look, see here. I think in the last 28 days, if I'm not mistaken, in the last 28 days, I've gained 31 subscribers, which that ain't very good, but it ain't bad either for as small as I am, and I'm only putting out 1 tech video a week. So it ain't too bad. My thumbnails to attract more viewers, I could see that. You know, like I said, I don't put a whole lot of time into doing this. I like to be able to do more time, but I just don't have it available to me to do. I could probably improve my thumbnails some, but I really just don't have the time to put into them. You know, I do the best I can with the time that I have. It ain't a financial thing. It ain't nothing like that. It's just time management skills. You know, I do work a full-time job. I work 50 to 60 hours a week. I got a girlfriend I want to spend time with, you know. So what I can do for YouTube is very limited. But I'll keep that in mind, you know, and maybe do some research on how to do better thumbnails than what I've been doing. But actually my click-through rate to what to how many times YouTube just show my videos or suggesting my videos ain't too bad. I've got about 10% to 10.5% click-through rate in the last 28 days. Let's see here. In the last 28 days, they've impressioned or showed my videos as a suggested video 87.3 thousand times. I have a click-through rate of 10%. I've equaled 13.3 thousand views, which I don't know how they come up with this, but unique viewers is 8.3 thousand. So, you know, with only having about 100 videos up, I don't think I'm doing too bad on that. So my thumbnails must be doing all right, because I am getting clicks through them. But I'll get better with time. I'm still learning. Alright guys, let's see what else we got here. But thanks for the comment. Thanks for watching Country Dim. Circus Jackus 79, I guess is the way you pronounce that one. Thank you for the video. I have to update the BIOS for that. Update BIOS for that. My Ryzen 5 3600 works. Greetings from my Argentina. Well, glad you found the video, and I'm glad it helped you out. I hope that updating that BIOS went good for that 3600. The way he kind of put it in there kind of got me a little confused. I have had to update BIOS for that. I'm assuming he's saying he had to update his BIOS for his Ryzen 3600, and it works. So I'm glad the video helped you out. That was on how to update the BIOS on the Gigabyte B450 DS3H motherboard. Thank you. I'm glad it helped you out. I'm glad that you was able to get that BIOS updated, run that 3600 on by watching it. Let's see here. Abash Dixon. The thermal paste application method is one of the best I have ever seen. What did you use on your finger to spread the thermal paste? I just used a piece of Scotch tape. I unroll it all the way, rip it off, get me another section off of it. That way I know it's clean, there's no contaminants on it. It just kind of makes it easier to clean up the mess, you know, that way you, because sometimes that thermal paste, when you get it on your fingers, it's pretty hard to get off. And it also stops the oils from your skins getting into your CPU, or, you know, being trapped inside the thermal paste. But yeah, I just use a piece of Scotch tape or a piece of boxing tape, something like that. That's the cheapest way I can figure it out. You know, I know some guys use them gloves and stuff like that. Scotch tape is something that most people have laying around the house. It's cheap, it's inexpensive, you know, and it does the job. It keeps your fingers clean, and it does the job, you know. And like I've said in my videos, I like to spread mine out. That way I know I got good coverage over top of the whole CPU. You put the glob in the middle like a lot of people do. You don't know if it's completely covered or not. You don't know if you put too much on, if you haven't put enough on. By spreading it out, it just kind of, you know what you've got underneath there. You know it's enough. But thanks for watching, and thanks for the comment. Cryo Daniel 11. Thanks, man. It worked. That was on how to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B450 MDS3H motherboard. Well, thank you. I'm glad it helped you. You're more than welcome. I'm hoping that RAM's running at the speed that you wanted to be able to get it to. What else do we got here? 2 days ago, we've got one. Dave, thanks for the video. Great information. And this one's on how to update the BIOS on the Gigabyte B450 DS3H motherboard. And it's Dick Tracy. Nice name, Dick. Thanks for the video. Great information. I'm glad you found it useful and that you enjoyed the video. I have the same motherboard with the 2400G. I upgraded the driver for the 2400G after they bugged out too much. Now after my computer goes to sleep, when it wakes up, the screen will start flashing, go black for a few seconds, flashing different colors. If I reboot it, it runs fine until the next sleep mode occurs. I tried going back to the old drivers I originally set up, and it still does it. Have you ever seen this issue with yours? Motherboard came with F2 BIOS. I have up to F4 now. When I go to the next step, Chrome goes black. So I put the F4 back in and have lived with the issue since. Any thoughts? So once it goes to sleep, the screen starts messing up when you went back to the old drivers. I'm assuming you mean the BIOS. The original setup, and it still does it. Have you ever seen any issues with yours? No, I haven't had them kind of issues with mine. The only issue I had with mine is the video I put out that I bricked my motherboard, and that was for some reason when I updated that particular BIOS with the SATA port drive plugged in from my mass storage drive, it just wouldn't boot, and I don't know why. It's almost like it disabled the SATA ports, but I've never seen anything like this. Motherboard came with F2 BIOS. I have it up to F4 now. When I go to the next step, Chrome goes black. So I put it back to F4 and have lived with it, with the issue since. I've never seen a system do that over a BIOS, but if that's the only thing that's changed within the system, I'm gonna say it's something to do with the BIOS. You're going from F2 to F4. I try to, my recommendation would be probably to try to go up higher. Motherboard manufacturers are getting to the point to where they want you to run the latest BIOS. So I try to upgrade as far as you can possibly upgrade it and see if it fixes the problems. It may fix them. It may make them worse. I'm not too sure. I mean, it's already broke. It's already, I couldn't imagine that going on. I mean, every time you start your computer off of sleep mode, it messes up like that. And he said if it goes above F4, then his Google Chrome goes black. Yeah, that'd be a big pain in the butt. I try to update the BIOS. If it's a new motherboard, maybe send it in for an RMA. Because apparently something ain't right someplace on it. And without having the system, I try to go through these and I try to give you my recommendations, but without having the system to actually look at, or, like this one I've never seen, it's kind of hard to say. I try to update the BIOS all the way and see if it helps. But it's definitely something within that BIOS, or something within that motherboard that's causing that. Yeah, that'd be my suggestion on that one. But thanks for watching and thanks for the comment. I hope that helps you, which I probably did. It probably just confused you even more. But it looks like that's all the comments or the questions I've had for this week, for the last 2 weeks actually. And that's about all I have on the 5600 XT. So I think it's going to pretty well wrap me up for today. It's been about a half hour, I guess. I guess that ain't too bad. But if you've watched this long, thanks for joining me. Looks like I got about 2 other people. We got about 2 people watching me. I'm glad you stuck around and hung out with me today. If you like this kind of video and you like this kind of content, make sure you give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. There's that comment section. So like I did today, I'll go through them next week on next week's live show. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that lonely little subscribe button down there and turn on that notification bell. That way you're notified next time I put out a video or I go live. But with that being said, and this being a Saturday, I'm going to get out of here. You all have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video or the next live stream.